Well, here we are. It's the end of April. It's the end of Marathon Month, as I've been calling it. And honestly, while it has been rewarding, I've learned a lot of things. I've learned how to streamline things, and I've learned full use of my new HD cam. As some of you probably noticed, I made the switch relatively right in the middle of all of that. Ultimately, I'm glad everyone enjoyed it. Let me get that out of the way. I'm happy to see the response for it. And it seems like I know I have my multiple audiences, and it seems like everyone was happy with everything. So that was what was good. What wasn't good was I really underestimated how hard it was going to be to get all those videos out. I mean, for 5 weeks, it was pretty much nothing but filming and editing straight. I didn't have any time for writing. I didn't have any time to stage the reviews to be bigger. You know, no like special effects or sketches like I usually like to do. It was really a struggle to keep the schedule. And I regret doing it, if only because it kept me from doing the videos that I really like to do. I mean, it kept me from doing any new TJTVs, which I had a script half written, and I haven't been able to touch it in the last month. It hasn't allowed me to do Plastic Addict #1 Worst, which is also a half-done script right now because this completely dominated all of my time since then. So while I'm glad everyone enjoyed it, and while I am glad I did it, just for the lessons I took away from it, I honestly don't think I will ever do it again. At least not in huge blocks like that. I might do another theme week at some point. In fact, I mentioned that I might do a 4th theme week, depending on how these went. And they went well on your end. On my end, it was kind of a nightmare. So I'm not going to be doing it again. Not for a while, and not in those lengths. I was going to do Sword Week for #4. So it was going to be, rather than focusing on one series and then just reviewing a whole bunch of toys from that series, it was going to be the sword toys that I have that I've been putting off. Like, I've got the Agito Flame Sword that I haven't reviewed. I've got, let's see, what else do I have? The Thundercat Sword of Omens. Awesome toy, by the way. I've got a lightsaber I could have reviewed. I've got the Blade Rouser I could have reviewed. I've got the Dengasher I could have reviewed. So it was just going to be a week of variety, essentially. And I might do that again. I might go through with that, and I might do that at some point. But for now, it's off the table, as I'm looking forward to taking a break from videos. This is honestly a bit of a burnout thing. The one thing I will mention is that this wasn't the video I wanted to post today. I did want to do a vlog just to kind of touch on the marathon month, but I don't know, for the most part, what I really wanted to post today was Plastic Addict #1 Worst. And like I said, my time for scripting just completely went out the window. So, I'll be honest with you, I'll be honest, I still have this little pocket of fans, and for those who ask me, for advice on being a video reviewer and such, learn to have a thick skin. I will say that right off the bat, because every single day I get pestered for that video, and every single time someone pesters me for it, it just makes me want to not do it. I never understood this mentality, and I notice they have it. I notice Transformer fans have it a lot when Hasbro does something like the weird colored Bruticus that's coming out, and I'll get to this in a bit. I'll go in this and explain it later, where it seems like fans have this belief that someone is willing to sabotage themselves for no reason other than to do something that is not what people want. And there's absolutely no logic or thought behind that conclusion whatsoever. So I never really understood it, and I don't understand why people keep asking me, where's #1? Where's #1? Where's #1? When there's absolutely no reason for me to delay it. I know it's the video everyone wants to see. It's the video I want to produce. However, I don't have the time to produce it. I mean, a Plastic Addict episode takes scripting, takes multiple stages, it takes light rearranging, it takes a lot. It takes a lot of work that none of you see. And, you know, like, now that I've got my HD camera up and working, and now that I've got, you know, the old camera spare, I almost want to do like a behind the scenes thing, just so you can see what it takes to produce a full episode of Plastic Addict. And that, I don't know, might show you a little bit of why those episodes come out so rarely. So, the episode is coming. Of course it's coming. But, honestly, my will to do it it gets depleted every single time I see someone completely impatient, someone completely disregarding the person rather than the entertainer. Like I said, 99.9% of you are fine. There's just this little pocket that's never going to be happy with what I do. You know, it's never going to be enough. You know, I just got done with the busiest month. I've just got done with the busiest video month of my little reviewing life. And it still wasn't enough for some. That's the discouraging thing, when you put that much work into that many videos, and there are some people who still go, but we want more. I'm glad you want more. I'm glad you like my stuff enough to want more, but you're asking me in a video where I've done like 20 videos. Okay, so that's been frustrating, and honestly, it does really it does hurt the productivity. It makes it come slower when I get that kind of response. So it doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help anybody at all. Way off track. I'm way off track now. So okay. So as I said, I'm glad everyone liked the marathon months, and while I took a lot away from it, I'm not going to be doing it again. Not to that extent. I hope everyone did enjoy the whole switch over to HD that I meant to do months ago. And here's why it took a while. My computer couldn't handle the HD footage. It just literally couldn't play it. And that's because I'm not a PC gamer. So I never really needed to upgrade my computer from anything other than what it came with. And it came with a really bad onboard graphics card. So I finally had to upgrade my graphics card, and I finally do now have HD quality footage in my reviews now, because my computer can actually run it. So I hope everyone has enjoyed that changeover. It is permanent this time, though. I will give the same warning I gave like back in November or December, one or the other. There are still projects that were recorded previously in SD. They were recorded on the old camera. The Metrocon videos, for instance, you'll see the rest of those in May. You'll see those sometime next month. And, of course, those are filmed on the old camera, so those are in standard definition. There's a couple of things. It's mostly con footage. It's mostly the things I haven't gotten around to putting together yet. It's just, they keep getting put on the back burner. So, hopefully I can make time for those now. Hopefully. So that is that. Everything's in HD now, so whenever Plastic Addict #1 does roll out, it'll be my first one in HD as well. And after that, you're gonna start seeing some changes. You know, I hate to say it because the episodes come so rarely, but there might be a hiatus on Plastic Addict just because now that everything's gonna be HD, I at least need to put together a new intro. Because the old one is still using like webcam footage, and it doesn't work anymore. So I've got to figure out something else to do. I'm getting together with my animator, and we're trying to figure out something to do. But the intro to TJTV with TV screens is easy. It's kind of hard to do something like that with action figures. So there's a little bit, you know, it's slow going, and there's a lot still to come. But that's pretty much the state of Plastic Addict and the state of HD. While I'm vlogging here, I did want to touch on the Botcon 2012, because once again, back in my usual position of just staying at home like most of you, watching it from afar, watching all the pictures and reports that came in on it. And honestly, I'll get this out of the way. I'll get it out of the way right now. I was just as disappointed with a lot of people with the convention toys this year, especially when Botcon was stating, I can honestly say there's not one bad toy in this year's set. I'm sorry, there are a lot of bad toys in this year's set. More, not so much bad toys, a lot of missed potential, I think is the more apt description. Because you had really odd choices. You know, you're doing a Shattered Glass Universe 1 toy homaging one of the worst Armada characters you could in Armada Sideswipe, and you're using the very best mold that you had at your disposal to do it. I don't know why. I don't know why they decided to go that route. It, to me, just made absolutely no sense whatsoever. And, you know, I mean, things like, okay, Shattered Glass Straxus. Whoopee, you couldn't think of anything better to do with that toy? I think the only ones I really like, you know, and, God, there's just so much disappointment in it. There's just so much letdown, I should say. And I really think the only ones that really captured me were either the Shattered Glass Optimus version 2, because I don't think I'd ever recalled a Botcon toy that got to have a second version made, and it's still the same character. Like, I've got 2010 Breakdown, who is, of course, based on the original Botcon exclusive, but he's still kind of treated as a completely different character, different universe, whereas both Shattered Glass Optimus Primes are Shattered Glass Optimus Prime. So, that was nice. That one I kind of liked. And I will credit them on the troop builder this year of the Shattered Glass Junkions as Insecticons. Using all 3 heads was a nice surprise. So, those are pretty much the only ones that really did anything for me. So, and that's all I'm going to say, because I could rant on that Botcon set all day. But what I really wanted to mention were some of the toys that we got to see. Of course, the big thing at Botcon is always the toys that we're going to get. Really happy to see that we're getting the darker color scheme on Bruticus. It's a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, so I'm going to have to track down someone who's going to the convention because I need that set. I need that set of Combaticons. And I don't trust it to stay in stock at Hasbro Toy Shop long enough. I get the feeling that one's going to be one of those like you know, like San Diego Comic-Con Starscream and Cobra Commander was, just instantly gone. So that one I desperately need. And I got into like an hour-long debate with a friend of mine over why the retail releases are so much brighter. And I'll agree the bright color schemes don't look nearly as good. But that's me coming from a collector's viewpoint. You know, I want them to be darker colors, cooler colors. But fact is, and Hasbro has been proving this many, many times over the course of the years, whenever they try to market combiners individually, it never really sells because kids just aren't as interested in combiner toys as collectors are. I mean, you think about it, it's a toy that has no gimmick because the gimmick is the combination. That's where the budget for the usual gimmick goes to. So you don't really have anything that it does as far as an action feature to keep kids interested. And usually the toy itself suffers too because it has to work in the combination joints and all that. And ultimately they're not interesting toys. Usually they're not interesting toys on their own. You know, the Energon combiners, some of them are average at best. Like, I think Energon Dust Storm was actually a Plastic Addict candidate for a long time. I finally decided, no, it's not quite bad enough. It's just a very boring toy. And kids respond to that. So, the retail release, the reason they're brighter is because traditionally, kids like, you know, younger kids like buying brighter toys. It's Hasbro giving the individual releases the best chance they have of being bought. And they need that. They need every advantage with kids as they can, because collectors will eat it up no matter what. You might not like the colors, but it's still combining Combaticons. It's going to get bought. But collectors, I know we like to think we're bigger than this, but honestly, while we do buy more than a single kid does, we are far, far outnumbered by the kids themselves. So we are like 10 or 15% of the market at best. And so we alone cannot keep a toy line alive. So it has to play to kids. It has to do something for kids, or it's not going to sell. And it's not going to lead to any other combiners in the future. I mean, that's the crux of this. Bruticus, you know, at retail has to succeed, or we won't get any other combiners. You know, this is Hasbro doing the one thing they said they would never do anymore, because it always made them lose money. We got to do it, but this time it has to work. It has to work. Please let it work, because I want real combiners. I want Technobots. I want Aerial Bots. I want Stunticons. I want combiners again. But this one has to sell well to do it. So, you know, that's me coming from the... That's me with my reviewer eyes on. I have to understand why a toy is this way, so I don't judge it incorrectly for doing that. You know, and once again, it is understanding all the factors before you make a judgment. It's just one of those things you have to do, especially when you're the bad toy guy. When you're the bad toy guy, you have to know all of that kind of thing. So that is why that is as it is. Understand. Still, it needs support because we need combiners. I mean, a lot of the toys we'd seen before out of catalogs, it's still nice that in this internet age and the stolen Chinese toy, well, they don't produce them in China anymore, so, you know, in this age of stolen Asian toys and the internet, that there are still surprises out there. A lot of really cool reveals. We're getting Shockwave in Prime, and I'm so eager to see what he looks like in that show. What all were we getting? I'm trying to remember it off the top of my head now. We're getting a ton of Fall of Cybertron stuff. Starscream, finally. I'm sure you'll see all the Seekers out of that. Still not getting Ironhide. I want that frickin' Ironhide. We're getting Kickback, and I could not tell what Kickback transforms into. I swear, when I first saw the vehicle mode, I thought someone had just knocked the toy over in the display cabinet. It doesn't look like anything. And, we'll see, what else? I'm trying to think. See, I'm trying to think, because the only real big one, the only one I can remember was we're getting a Voyager War for Cybertron Soundwave. I'm thrilled that Generations is getting expanded to Voyager classes, because it opens up so many other characters we could possibly see down the line. And, you know, they know that everyone wants Grimlock, and hopefully Grimlock's going to be a nice Voyager-sized toy. So, they do have Soundwave on the show floor, and he looks awesome. He looks better. He looks way better than the Deluxe. Like, he fixes the main problem I had with the Deluxe. But the gimmick, oh my god. It's the cassette gimmick with data discs, so we've upgraded that gimmick at long last. And apparently they launch from his chest and transform in mid-air. Like, you know, people have compared it to a Bakugan-style gimmick. There's a toy line, I can't remember what it's called now. It's a Bakugan knockoff. And what you do is you, like, roll the little robot thing up into a tube and stick it in the tube and, like, flick the tube, and it flies out and transforms as it flies out of the tube. I don't remember what it's called. Someone in the comments will probably let me know. So check down there if you are curious what they are. But it's more akin to that than it is Bakugan. Bakugan has, like, I believe it's a magnet effect in the cards that triggers their transformation. This is all just spring-loaded stuff. But it's Soundwave that can hold up to 3 of these things. He comes with Laserbeak. We're getting individual packs with Ravage, Rumble, Frenzy, Ratbat. This is freaking awesome. And they come, the cases they showed off I love this. This is the final touch. They come in cases just like the old ones did. But the cases are shaped like Energon cubes. And I freaking love that. We have sound... Understand this. It's not a classic Soundwave, and a classic Soundwave would not sell to kids. So that's impossible. But we have a Soundwave with a proper upgrade of his gimmick, a proper upgrade of the cassettes. And the cassettes function just like they did in the old cartoon, launching and transforming on their own in midair. And they're getting sold individually, so we're getting more. This is absolutely awesome. This is like, even though it's not a G1 style Soundwave, it is a Soundwave that does everything we ever wanted a Soundwave in modern toys to do. And I'm thrilled that Hasbro has finally gotten a way of doing it, and is doing it better than I could have hoped for. I'm really excited for that toy. And I really think that's the big one that came out of Botcon. Because, hang on, as my screen goes blank, my notes, my non-existent notes. So, it looked like, it sounded like there was a lot of cool stuff that was announced at Botcon, though, like, I do, you know, that was really the only huge surprises. I mean, we're getting awesome stuff. You know, and that's always the fun stuff to see out of Botcon. But I will say this, if you can ever go to Botcon, plan to go more than once, because having been there, having experienced it, going back to just you know, attending Botcon with your eyes, and attending Botcon through news sites like TFW 2005 or whatnot, it sucks. It just so doesn't compare to the actual Botcon experience. That is such a it's such a different experience, and you really can't go back. You know, it's like having filet mignon. You're never going to eat a bologna sandwich again in your life. So, okay, I think I've talked in length now. The little... Oh yeah, that's way too long. It's my first vlog in HD. I just wanted to see, I wanted to see how long one of these goes and how big the file gets if I just let it roll. So this is going way long. So I'm glad so let's wrap it up here. I'm glad everyone enjoyed the marathon month. I'm not suffering another one for a while. And coming up in May. What do we have coming up in May? I almost want to do this like coming up next month vlog every month. Let's see, we got, so you can see the shirt. We have, well, the rest of the MetroCon videos. And I will be right up front with you, that's why I did the marathon month, is because I needed a revenue boost for MetroCon this year. And that's because, as you recall, most years, so I have more convention money, I liquidate some of the spare odds and ends from my collection. This year that didn't happen because, as most of you know, I went and bought Hercules after selling off a good portion of toys. So I didn't have that option anymore. I really don't have anything lying around that would be in the sellable category right now. That sucks. You know, but, you know, that's how that goes. So I had to do something to afford the trip this year. So for everyone who's been waiting, the next MetroCon video was just, again, was one of those things that was supposed to be up, but, you know, the schedule got completely overwhelmed. It'll be up sometime in May. You'll see the last panel with Scott McNeil and everything, and the last of the MetroCon 2011 documentaries. And hopefully the 2012 will be up a lot faster than these were, because this will be the first time I go with an HD camera. This will be the first time I get to interview the guests. Like, you will actually, like, people like to call my autograph signing with Scott last year an interview because I was sitting down beside him. That's just the autograph line for like 5 minutes. This is like an actual interview with the guy, sit down, and throw the most bizarre questions I can at him, and we will see what happens. It's going to be fun. Like, even if you don't normally watch my Metricon videos, I can promise you the Scott McNeil interview is going to be a blast. And this year, since I have 2 camcorders, the documentary footage is all going to be on the HD cam. The old camera is going to be recording the panels. That's because every year, Scott goes way over time, and my camera starts to die toward the end, and I always miss the end of his panel. I refuse to do that this time. I'm bringing a camera just so I don't miss any of that this year. So hopefully I can bring more of the con footage, more of Scott McNeil, more of the things everyone enjoys. And May should bring not only the return of TJ TV on a normal schedule again, but also the return of Plastic Addict. Though, as I said, it's going to take a little bit of break as I upgrade all the old footage for HD. Because it's going to take quite a bit to accommodate the wider screen, the higher definition, all of that. I believe that is it. I hope that is it. This thing is running way longer than I intended. So, thank you everyone for everyone who enjoyed the review month. Thank you very much. You can see, you can tell I'm starting to run out. So hopefully you're not burned out on me, because I'm still going to be busy in May, just not as busy as I was in April. So, I'll see you then.